Ready? Call to order the Stokes Rose Memorial Hospital Board Trustees meeting for July 10th, 2023 at 4:30 p.m. First item on our agenda is the invocation, if you'll join me for that. Most gracious Heavenly Father, we thank you for the privilege of meeting today to do the hospital business. We ask for your strength, guidance, and wisdom as we make decisions related to that. We ask you to strengthen those and give healing where it's needed. We ask these things in your most gracious name. Next item is the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And the next item on the agenda is approval of the agenda. I need someone to make a motion to add an updated feasibility study.
I'll make a motion to update the feasibility study.
Approved.
Second. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay, we'll add that after, we'll do that after a hospital operations committee. Public comments, anybody signed up? Okay. Next item on the agenda is approval of the June 12, 2023 board minutes, and I think you have a copy of them there. If you want to review them, we will vote on them.
I don't see, there was a little bit of discussion, I think, where we were talking to Pam about, was there anyone at LifeBright, like higher up, that might could provide some of the information for the study, because I had said I didn't blame her for the delay, and I think Mr. Mendenhall then asked some questions about who could at LifeBright be able to assist in gathering that data, and I don't see any of that part of the conversation on here.
It's in the closed session minutes.
Okay. Gotcha.
Which is in a different packet.
Okay. All right. Gotcha. You're right. That probably was enclosed. Thought it was when we were talking about the feasibility study.
Hey, any other comments or questions on the minutes?
Circle back. That's all. I'll make a motion we approve.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Passed unanimously. Next thing is our ethics and conflict of interest statement. It's the duty of every board member to avoid both conflicts of interest and appearances of conflict. Does any board member have any known conflict of interest or appearance of a conflict with respect to any matters coming before the board today? That's a no from everybody. If so, please identify the conflict or appearance of conflict and refrain from any undue participation on that matter. Okay, the next item is an update on the Pine Hall x-ray. Pam, you want to knock that out right quick?
I'm happy to. We were able to begin x-rays on June 20th. To date, we've done 10, and that's with absolutely no marketing. These are just people who came in that were able to have a chest x-ray, a hand, a wrist, I think a couple of spine x-rays. So we have some marketing, some strategic planning that we're working on that we would like to combine with the X-ray announcement. So hopefully by the next meeting we can be prepared to announce those things. So.
Okay. Okay, good. Anybody have any questions on that?
Everybody's happy that it's in use
Oh, yeah.
and it's going well.
So now I call Tara and reserve that building for next summer. After we finish here. Okay, the next item is Hospital Operations Committee update, and the item we have for that on that today is Justin Duncan has decided to resign from the Hospital Operations Committee. I think he's scheduled with his pastoring a church and working and being on the school boards a little bit, has him a little bit too busy, so he would like to resign, so we'll need to go through the process of putting a replacement in for him. He works, he represents what area? Long Cove, right?
Germantown.
Or Germantown, yeah. So, he's an alternate also, right, Christie?
Correct.
So we'll need to find an alternate to replace Justin Duncan, so.
Are we gonna advertise like we usually do for committees, appointments?
If that, what do our bylaws say about that? Do they have a process in there? I can't remember for what we need to do to replace him. Do you remember?
Not right off the top of my head,
It certainly wouldn't hurt to just do it the normal way. Do y'all have any issues with doing that?
Do we need to have a hospital operations committee meeting to?
Yeah, that'd probably be the best
Do
thing.
that.
I was planning on having one after this meeting today anyway,
Okay.
so why don't we do that?
Okay.
And then we'll come back at the next meeting, next board trustees meeting with plan or recommendation for filling that position. Hopefully with somebody maybe from the same geographical area, if we can find somebody that would do that. Everybody okay with that?
Yeah.
We hadn't had one of those meetings in a while, and we need to get with them and update them on what's going on. So. Okay, the next item on the agenda is a feasibility update. I'll start with a couple comments on that. We received an email from HFG that said they were basically going to pause the analysis they're doing until we could get the rest of the information to them. Some coming from the state, some coming from LifeBright, I think. And so I think, and with that being the case, that we probably should instruct our attorney to write a letter to Mr. Fletcher, the CEO of LifeBright, explain the situation we're in with him, to him, and the urgency of it, and ask for a face-to-face meeting with him as soon as possible to see if we can kind of break the logger jam here and get the rest of this information out to those guys so they can complete this study, get it done. So with that, I'll open the floor for comments or questions from other board members.
I just agree that, I agree that need him here as soon as possible, so we can talk with him.
Any other comments, questions?
I think this has been quite an experience. I've 7 years on the board, and we've done numerous studies, and this was, I believe, we negotiated with them, I believe, back in November. Is that correct? Can someone verify it was November?
We took action in October to give HFG this, to use them as for the study, but I think November might have been their actual start date.
I think it was, from the best of my memory. I had it written down. And we're getting ready to into the middle of July. I think they said in the beginning they thought if they could get all the information, they'd be through in 4 months. We're now in our 8th month.
I think they said they would be finished with the study in 3 to 4 months.
Yeah,
Not just get all the information.
I just think that it is quite a crying shame that LifeBright cannot provide assistance to Pam Tillman to get this information out. It is LifeBright Hospital. I've had several phone calls lately concerning this. I understand now from these people that are calling me that there have been delays in pay to some of the employees. Also have been told by people there that Christian has sent his wife up to the hospital to talk to people up there. They came from employees up there. Not quite sure why he's sending his wife. Because Christian Fletcher is a person we have been dealt with 2 or 3 times. We've managed to get him up here in my 7 years. I think it's time we drop the hammer on him and just ask him if he wants to continue operating the hospital. He needs to come up here and give us some answers to why we can't get the information for this study done.
And that's why Ty needs to write him a letter. I would note that he did come one time and none of you guys could make time to meet with him the last time he was here. Just for the
I remember
record.
that. That was very short notice.
I think it's a bigger problem than that, but we'll leave it at that.
If I might, just by way of clarification, the structure for the hospital, Christian is the CEO of the LifeBright Hospital Group of Stokes entity, and then Amber is the COO, Chief Operating Officer. So she is an officer and a board member.
That's
So
fine.
she does have operations. So as far as her coming, she was in her purview, in her role to be at the hospital. I wasn't sure if you knew what her role was. So
That's what CEOs usually do with their COOs. They send them out to meetings like that.
Yeah,
It's kind of the way it works.
especially when you're having problems.
Kind of the way it works there.
Especially when you're
Commissioner
having
Mendenhall.
problems, Commissioner Morris.
You know, I think another crying shame is that we didn't have Stradwater do this back when the previous board had an opportunity. And this would all be done. This would all be done by then. But no, we had to go on a bunch of wild goose chases and all sorts of things, didn't we?
That wasn't a wild goose chase.
Sure it
was.
was.
Good information.
Sure it was. It wasn't good information. I told you it was a waste of time. What we were doing, it turned out to be a waste of time.
We got good
Sure it did.
information.
Sure it did.
So then when we get this study, we have something to compare it to.
Ridiculous. Any further comments?
No, not to you.
Okay, that's good.
I have a question. Glenda, is all the stuff in red the stuff that we're waiting on
Yes, ma'am.
in this?
And this was the updated list that was sent Friday afternoon.
Okay.
Late, actually, it was after we were getting ready to leave. They're an hour behind us. So.
And I will again reiterate my comment and that
Hello, Ronnie. How you doing?
I think that you know, there should be somebody at the headquarters of LifeBright that could provide this information, and I don't blame Pam again for the delay. I think that she obviously has her hands full being the administrator of the hospital and working like she does. And I don't, looking at all, this is a lot of information they're requesting, and I get that, but I would think they could have somebody working on it at their headquarters that would be able to provide this. And I agree that sending the letter is a good idea. And I have a question for Pam. Do you know if Christian Fletcher has been told of this email from HFG? Is he aware of the fact that they're wanting to pause the study?
I told him we were going to have a meeting and that I would provide feedback. Just by way of clarification, again, our meeting was on June 12th. I was able to get into the system that the state had provided access to an additional website. So I was able to work with Jaron Wilson from HFG, and there are a couple of items shown in red here that we were able to collect. We did a working call Teams meeting where he was able to look at the screen and tell me what data to select on some filters, and that was on June 14th. To complete basically the inpatient data and some benchmarking. Then we had a meeting scheduled. We actually got on the call on Friday, June 30th, and I think Jaron actually works for Steve Llewellyn. They work in partnership, so I think the timing on that call, June 30th, we were prepared to do the call, and I think he got the email that Glenda had gotten an email and said we probably didn't need to continue the call that day, so we were prepared to go to that same website and work on some outpatient data. So I do think there are some of the items that we can actually work with him, and that he can do the same thing, do a Teams meeting, and he can say, well, let's filter this way and collect the data. But then there are additional items that it would be helpful to have the communication with Christian. When Amber did come, she said that their plan would be for them to alternate, that he would plan to come for the next visit. So hopefully the timing will work out that with the communication that he could come and we could get this knocked out. So
Are they asking for anything that's ridiculous? I don't see anything.
No.
Myself. Okay.
Normal stuff.
It looks like basic stuff.
Any further questions, discussions, comments?
I've got a question for Ty. In reading the email, do you think that should Like Bright be, I guess, if they come around to agreeing to finish this information that they want, do you think that Mr. Llewellyn would agree to continue the project? Or, I mean, because the language of this email, it doesn't sound like it sounds like they're equally concerned about receiving new information in a timely manner regarding unknown needs that might arise during the analysis. I mean, I don't know, the way I perceive that is they just question whether or not to continue it, even if they do get the information that's requested. And there's no way to, I mean, you can't make them finish it, can we? Because we haven't paid them all the money, have we?
We have not taken all
I didn't think so.
Well, if they give us the basic information we need, then we would just address this with them. Be prepared to give the follow-on
I
information.
think I read that they still wanted to do the study, but go forward until they receive the information.
What you know? Are you reading the newest one?
Thursday the 29th.
I would address that in the letter to them, Ty. Not only do we need the current information, but we will need them to be responsive for follow-on information that's needed.
I don't have anything else.
Anybody else got anything?
It says in the second paragraph Therefore, we must inform you that while we want to continue to do this work for your hospital, we're placing it on hold until they can.
Okay.
So I take it that, they're still willing to go forward with it.
They're just frustrated like we
Continue
are.
until they get some.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. Good deal. Thank you.
The next item on our agenda is open discussion. Any particular items that any board members want to bring up? Oh, go ahead, Amber. I'm sorry.
I just want to give an update on the contract for the $10 million that we have with the state. I was contacted by them, and we have signed the contract, so that's renewed until 2028.
Okay, great. Well done. Okay, get a motion to go into closed session.
Make a motion, we go into closed session.
You have the criteria there, Christie.
Bet John like to have that. It's two pieces of paper.
Okay, we need to, I don't know what the site is for that, but we're basically going to approve closed session minutes. So
Yeah,
that's the only thing we have to do in closed session. So
yeah, I don't.
get a motion to go in closed session to do that.
I'll make a motion going closed.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, we're in closed session. Unless we have any further business, I get a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?